So I'm recording in there, but it's been recording in Zoom the whole time. So then, so pwd shows I'm in this folder. If I press open and dot, that'll actually open where the folder is on my computer, and you see that's there. I could do cd into, if I want to go into like any of these folders here, I could go to cd documents, for example, and that'll show me that I'm in the documents folder. That'll open the documents folder, sorry. And if I press open, and sorry, the dot means the current location. And when I press open, I'm saying open space dot, and that's the current folder. And that just will show me that I'm in the documents folder. Okay, so that's some basic stuff. So then I have a bunch of like stuff here about troubleshooting, installing Node and stuff that you can look at if you have problems. Oh yeah, there's NVM Windows here. Good, I had that link from last year, which can you can install it on Windows if you want to use the NVM root. But you can also install. Oh wait, you can also install everything. Sorry, I was at the wrong tutorial. You can also install everything just using the standard Node installer. So also, I strongly recommend using Visual Studio Code, which is a code editor from Microsoft. It's really nice to work with. It has a bunch of plugins. So, basic introduction to Node.js. Node.js is just running JavaScript in your terminal. This is a very basic program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder here, make their like Puppeteer demo. I'm going to cd into that. If I tab, depending on your terminal, it might autocomplete it. And then in VS Code, what I could do is I would open that folder that's in Documents, Puppeteer demo. There's nothing in there right now. So there's no files here. I can create a new file here called like test program or test.js. So this is a program test.js, and I'm just going to copy and paste this code here. And then what this is doing is this is just looping through 5 numbers and printing it. Console.log prints out the number. And if I want to run that, I go back into the folder and I would just do node test.js. And see that just looped through 5 numbers. I'm not going to go so much into for loops right now, but that looped through 5 numbers and printed them. That's the simplest way you run a Node.js program. So then now let's run a basic Puppeteer program. Let's do like visit Google. Okay, and I'm going to actually just copy and paste this code that we had over here. And just make this out of the way. And then basically, if I want to try to run this, node visit google.com. So there's a couple of issues here. Await is only valid in async function. This is an error that I'm getting. So prior to, the reason why I said you should install, make sure you have Node version 0.4.7. In version 0.14.3, they made it so that you could just call await wherever you want. Before, you had to like have it in another function that had async in front of it, but with Node version 14.7.3.0 and up, you don't need to do that. So, but there's one thing you have to do, which is, but I am using 14.7, but why am I still getting that error? Well, there's one thing that you have to do to actually enable that feature, and that is add this flag. And it's annoying, but every time you call this, so I have to do node harmony top level await visit Google. It's like you have to add this flag. It like tells them use this experimental feature that allows you to use await anywhere. if you didn't use await, you'd have to have like promises or callbacks. And if anyone's used callbacks or promises in P5, you can see it can be like a lot of nesting and very confusing. So being able to use await is a much nicer way to do that. But I'm not going to have time to go into why that is. So if I do this, okay, should have solved the problem. I just want to try something. Apologize for this. Okay, so there it didn't seem to want it. Maybe it's because I just want to see something quickly. Yeah. Apologize for this. So my computer's running really slowly because I'm recording. Maybe I need this. I don't know. But I'm just gonna try something and see if that fixes it. If I do in here, so usually I would have to do documents. Puppeteer demo npm init. Okay, so I had to actually create what's called a package JSON for that to work for some reason. So basically what you have to do is run in the folder of your code npm init, and I just kept pressing enter, just keep pressing enter. If I do npm init, it's gonna give me an error because it's already there. Well, let's do it again, it's fine. So I just press enter, don't worry about like all this stuff. And then what it does is it creates a package JSON, which I believe will give it like instructions or something that'll let you use the top level await. So okay, so then if I do no top level await, visit Google.
Usually package.json is accompanied by a public folder as well.
That's only if you're doing a browser. This is on the Node.js. You don't need a public folder. Let me try something. Import Puppeteer from Puppeteer. Oh, so then I have to do a thing here. Sorry. Modules. Okay, so that was the problem. Okay, so I basically have to create this package JSON and then add this type equals module. I'll just give you, basically I'm going to give you a folder you can download and it's going to have like all this stuff in it already. But so then this is saying cannot find package Puppeteer. So I have to, the reason is I'm importing, is basically like importing the Puppeteer functionality from this library, and to install it I have to do npm install Puppeteer. So what it's doing is downloading Chromium, which is basically like a lightweight, like an experimental version of Chrome that's very lightweight. and can run what's called headlessly, which means you can like send commands to it and you can run it programmatically. Okay, so now I'm going to visit Google, and yeah, that just visited it and saved the screenshot to my computer. Let's go. Yeah, so that just basically saved the screenshot to the screenshot.google. So there's a key thing that's different. If you do headless false, that's going to actually open a Chrome browser that you can see. And that's actually much more useful for our purposes because you get to actually, it's for debugging and stuff, it's much better to do that. You can get, because you actually see what's happening. So now you see if I put headless false, it opens Chrome and I can actually see what's going on. And it closed. Now, let's get rid of this closed thing so it leaves it open. So, what if I want to type something in search? So the way to type something in search is to tell Puppeteer to click on that box and type something to search. So the way to do that, and this is where it's going to start getting a little bit confusing, but stay with me and feel free to ask questions. So I need to find this element on the page and tell Puppeteer to type in it. And I'm going to go more into details in a second, but basically the best way to do this is to right click on it and do inspect. Okay. And then you click on this element. You want to know what the element is that you're trying to, so select. So here I have this input class equals this thing. So what I want to do is do this thing here. Oh wait, page dot type, and I say I want to boot in input. So this is the element that I want to type into, and I'm gonna go into like what that can be in a second, and I can be like, I'm tired or something. I don't know. Let's type that in. So the problem is if there's more than one input, then that's gonna get tricky because it doesn't know which one of those to select. So I'm gonna run this code again. I'm gonna close the browser window, and it might work, it might not. Another actually thing that's really nice about VS Code is you can actually just open the terminal here. So if I do, terminal, new terminal, it'll open a terminal window in the location where these files are, and then I can just do what I did before, which was will just be easier. So then I have a terminal here that's in the same folder here. Oh, that worked. It typed it into there. Other stuff you can do to make it look more human is do like delay like 100, and then it's gonna take, or I don't know, 50, and then it's gonna take like it's gonna type things more slowly, and that's a way to make things can look like more real. I think that was those invisible. If you make it, let's say 150 milliseconds between each keystroke, then it'll look more human. See, I typed it more slowly. Okay. Now the last thing I want to click, I want to search it. But actually, what you could do is you can press Enter on your keyboard to search. As you know, when when you go here, you're not going to be like, I'm tired, and you're not going to like click here and click here. You're actually just going to hit Enter on your keyboard, and it's going to search it. So what you could do is just do, oh wait, page dot key dot, I think, press Enter. And there, let's search that page. So Great. So that's like a very, very basic example of submitting input. A lot of the tutorials using something like Puppeteer are going to be about like web scraping. This is going to be more about like submitting stuff or sending messages to your friends or posting something on Twitter. If we have time, we'll get to those examples. If not, they're all on that markdown on that README file and on the website. So now what we're going to go through is I set up a very basic website scrape test that has like very basic HTML elements. So I realized I took a step forward. When you open a web page, it renders HTML. So this stuff is all generated because this web server is sending you, if I do view page source, you can actually see it, it's sending you this contents. So usually what it's doing is it's sending you this contents, and then your browser knows how to draw that in a nice way. But usually what's also happening is JavaScript is taking this contents and modifying it so that you can like, so usually even though I'm viewing the source here, right? Oops. If I view the source, this is usually not, and this page it is, but this is usually actually not what the browser is rendering because JavaScript takes this and modifies it. If you want to actually see what's being rendered, which is what your web scraper is going to be the Puppeteer is going to be interacting with, you do what I just did. You right-click in Chrome or Firefox or whatever. You do inspect, and this shows you the actual thing that's being drawn on the page. And what's nice is you can like hover over any of these, and this thing. Or like this is basically show you the different elements. You can like hover over here, it'll show you what thing you're corresponding to. So yeah, so basically I'm going to show you how you could like, let's say you have two fields on the page. How do you know, let's say you want to enter the email field, how would you know to enter something in the email field? So I'm going to change this web scraper to go to this URL, which you guys can have after this for practice. Okay, and let's type input some fun email. Okay.
I have a
Yes.
question.
Yes.
What was the goal with the Google search term thing you did? What was the goal with that?
Well, that's just a basic example, but I'm eventually going to show you how you can like basically go on Facebook and like post something, or go on Twitter and post something. That's just, the Google is just like a very basic example to just like show you like the basics of it. And then it's going to more advanced stuff, like for example going into YouTube and searching and just going on like an infinite rabbit hole is like something you can do, and then like make YouTube think you're some person.
Okay. And by a web scraping, it's a completely different topic. No?
It is, but it's using the same tool.
Okay. So you're using the same tool for different purposes.
Yeah, like it's just web scraping and this are using a headless browser, which is like a way to programmatically control a browser to do something, whether that browser is scraping a web page to gather information or interacting with the web page and filling forms out and like pretending something's happening. Like it can be any of that. A lot of stuff you learn here you could use like for web scraping. And I'll show you like a basic example of that. So let's say I do this thing here, and so that's some fun email at, but I wanted that to go in this field. How can I control which fields it goes into? So I'll use a Chrome inspector, and I guess it opened on the side here. So there's two elements. So basically things in the HTML page will have an ID and a class. Generally, more than one item can have the same class, but only each item has a unique ID. And the way you can test stuff out, so you want to basically find, in this case, like if I want to find the email field, I want to find the field with ID equals your email. Now this is a very simple example. On real web pages, it's a lot more complicated. But so a way to test this out, so basically you would do, in the Chrome you can do you basically would click. This is a basic way to test stuff out. You go to, if you're in Elements, you go to Console, you get document.query selector, and then this you're going to now search a document for something. So if I go back here, I have your email. So the way you search something by ID, you do the dot sign, you do your email. And you see that gave me that input field. Chrome Inspector is really nice because like you can hover over this. If I wanted to do just your email, that's nothing because I have to put the pound in front of it, the hashtag, whatever it's called, to indicate that I'm searching for something by ID. If I have, or if I do an input, so you don't need to put anything in front of it if you do input. So that's basically going to search. This is the actual HTML tag. So and there can be multiple of these on the page. So document.query selector returns like the first possible result, which is what Puppeteer is gonna use the same thing when you're doing like page.type or page.click. So if I do, there's one thing. I could also do query selector all to show all of them, and that'll give me like a list of, so you see that's the two things. But then if I do, so then document.query selector, then if I did like, I could also do, if you want to do something by class, you would do if I do field, nothing's going to happen. Let's say I want to find something field, nothing happens. But by class, you do the dot in front of it. Right? Or query select all would be, these both have the class field. So if I want to type into email field, I have to put the thing in front of it. What's it called? It's called your email. Okay, so I'm just going to do your email. Let's just try running that. Yeah, so you can see it typed that into the right place. There's other stuff you can do, like for example, you can combine stuff. So if I want to do like document.query, and this is what you want to do when you have like multiple things that are the same on the page, but you want to be specific. You could do like input your email, and that's like you're testing all inputs, but the one with ID your email. But if I did input.field, that'll give me the first one. But I could do input.field email, and that'll go more specific. So you can, this is what happens when you have like a bunch of things on the same page. You can really, like if you have like 5 input.fields, you can go more specifically to one. So that's kind of like very basic. Oh, there's another thing too for web scraping. Let's say you want to get what this is, and you want to save it to a file or something. So what I would do is I would inspect this element. This is a P. So what I could do is await page.evaluate. And this is going to open a function. It's basically, now this is actually page.evaluate. So the difference is, this function now is going to actually be, you're actually running JavaScript on the page itself. So I could do return document.query selector P, that's going to do that one, dot inner text. I could do const paragraph contents, and this is how you would do web scraping. You would basically run a bunch of page.evaluates on a page. Let me just copy and paste that. I think I spelled that wrong. So if I run that now, see that printed out the context. That printed out this. So this is like super, super basic web scraping example. And this isn't really a class about web scraping, so I'm not going to go so much into that. But yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention inner text is like the text inside of any HTML element. Okay, now we're going to go to some more fun examples, and more complicated ones. Let's do this one like that goes to like YouTube, and I'm just going to run it so you can see what it does, and then I'll try to explain it. So this one like goes to YouTube and searches something. It's loading really slowly. So, and this is another problem. A lot of the times this stuff like works one day and then it doesn't work the next day. Yeah, so this type to search thing, the search is there, and it watches the first video. Sorry, it's really loud. And then it keeps clicking recommendations and keeps watching it. And it's also logging, it's logging here what the name of the video is. And you could eventually like save that to your file system. It looks like it's still playing the same video over and over. But I'm gonna walk through what this is doing. So what this is doing, and this code is all available for you to experiment with. So like before, this is launching Puppeteer in headless mode so we can see it. This is opening a page, setting the viewport, then it goes to YouTube. And then page.click form. So it took me a while to figure this one out. And then it waits. So there's another key thing that you want to use here. Sometimes it takes a while for a page to load. So there's a thing called wait for selector that waits for something to appear on the page before continuing. So I'm just going to comment everything out for a second so we can see what's going on. So what it's doing is it's going to there and clicking on the form element. So there's no thing in front of them. He's looking for HTML form element. And it took me a while. So it's going to take a while to figure out how to. It takes a while to like figure this stuff out, like what works on these pages. So if I view this thing. There's a form here. So this is basically just clicking on that so that it becomes active. And then what I could do is I could do await page dot type in so it has to, I figured out you have to click on that to make it active. Then it types in that search box I'm so scared. It types in the element with that, and the way I know that is like I can see here there is a input ID equals search. So I knew there's only, if there's an ID tag, that's the easiest way to select something because there's usually only one of those on the page. So it just types in the thing with ID, I'm so scared. So let's just run that. And then let's just have it press enter so it searches for that. So that's search for that. Then what it does is waits for the first link. A is a link usually with video title. So if I go here, if I inspect this, it's looking for a ID equals video title. Just so loud. All right. Well, my computer's going really slow, and I'm not gonna.
Are you also able to automate this script at like, for instance, would you have it run at a fixed time, like say 8 a.m. in the morning,
Totally.
on its own?
Totally. You could do that. So then you wouldn't want it to do headless. You want it to do headless true, and then it can just run in the background. First of all, it doesn't need to open something. If you like, if I do it like this, right, I'm not gonna actually see. And then I could do like, page dot screenshot 2.png, and this is like a good way to just debug what's going. So if I do headless, so first of all, you'd want to run it without the headless false. So you want to run headless, and it's running. I don't see actually a browser window. It's going there. It's loading it. I think my computer's just really slow.
So basically, it's creating this fake data about your YouTube viewing habits, right?
Yeah, that's what this script is doing. It's just like,
and YouTube does not detect this.
they can eventually, but they usually, yeah. I mean,
so how many times should we run it? Like 1,000 times, 1,000,000,000 times, or what? The loop kind of.
I think just try to get it work once, and then I don't know. Like depends what you're trying to do, really. I think it's specific a lot, like what you're trying. This is just like depending on what you're trying to accomplish. I think it's good to think about that.
So the number of views on any given like a famous video could be like due to these scripts kind of been running from like troll farms.
Yeah, a lot of the time, yeah, for sure.
Oh, really?
I mean, this is another one. Yeah, I don't. For some reason, it's not loading. So this stuff's really tricky because when you turn off, so what I could do is I could actually a lot of times to debug this is I would put like a, console.log clicking on form. Did it create it? And then console.log typing search. So you want to like kind of have like this, a lot of these here, so you know what's going on. Waiting for videos. So basically what I would do is I would just call this again, and I could see maybe where it got stuck. Yeah, I think because I'm recording and stuff, my computer is like running really slowly. Oh, typing search, waiting for videos. Oh, I didn't actually do the saving, so then I want to do, oh wait, shot 2.png is going to capture a screenshot. Yeah, but I mean, this is hard because it's very brittle, because like if they change their website, this whole script's not going to work anymore a lot of the time. So, but yeah, this is much better than like, because this actually opens a browser that can simulate waiting for videos. Did it save it? Found video. Just gonna try this one more time.
Yeah, now it's working.
Yeah, it's doing something. Clicking on form, typing search, waiting for videos, found video. So it should be saving the screenshot. I don't know where that's going to. What was the example? Sorry, maybe I'm typing the screenshot syntax wrong. Oh, I have to do path. That's the problem. I have to do path. Yeah. Anyways, this is gonna work now. So yeah, you want to do a lot of console logs. So that's one example. Now I'll show you like another way to do this. Just let this run, and it should save the screenshot. Yeah, so then it created, it visited there and then captured this screenshot, so you know it worked. So now I'm going to show you how, like, let's say you want to go to Facebook and send a message to my friends. So there's a couple ways you could do this. So I'm going to open the script for a second. So node send Facebook message. Oops. So there's a couple ways. Like, you could write something. This is how I taught the tutorial last time, and it was really hard to reproduce. You could write something that, like, fills in the username and password. It logs in and, like, goes to all these stuff, but that's a lot of work and that can be brittle. So you could actually, like, manually log in and then have the script take over. And the way you do that is basically the script now, I started it. What it did is it opened Facebook. It's instructed. I have a message here. Basically, it's waiting for this element to appear on the page. It timed out because it took too long. Basically, it's waiting for this to appear on the page before it continues. So you can interact with the page, and then once that appears, it'll continue where you left up, where you can continue where it wants to. Because so this is like a nice way to, like, if you want to, like, get around, like, saving a password or having to log in, or like a bunch of steps that are really annoying to, like, automate. This is a way to do it. So basically, just it's gonna wait for this element to appear on the page before continuing. So I have, like, a fake email that I've been using. Excuse my number of unread emails. Hold on. So I can go to, like, my another email box, like, that I've just created some, like, email, and I've already made a Facebook account, or not that one. So then let's say my computer's running super slow because I'm recording, but so I have this email that I've just registered, and I've already made a Facebook account because I don't want to do this as my real Facebook, but basically I, like, created this email and Facebook login. So I'm gonna go into here, and I'm gonna actually, like, log in using this. I just, like, created this. So here it's telling me, and then it should find this element. So it found it. It goes to Messenger. Open Messenger link. See, I think this might have already stopped working because the thing was out of date. Oh, but what it was actually doing was, yeah, so it sent a bunch of messages to myself. And what it was doing was, yeah, so, like, it's waiting for, yeah, this is what I basically made it do, because, like, I think automating the whole process of getting to this page was really hard. So what I did is I had it wait for like this element to appear on the page. Let me just close this. I was waiting for ARIA label new message. Where is it? ARIA label. stuff changes all the time. I could also like wait for. So you see when you have like these complex pages like Facebook with context HTML, there there's no longer like reproducible like ID tags or classes you can use because they're kind of like automatically generated by stuff like this ID is not really like that usable. You don't know if it's going to appear again. So you kind of have to use like other stuff like either ARIA label or like something. And the way to use something like that, and this is where it gets tricky. So I want to find this element on the page. I have to do something like this bracket syntax. It's like ARIA label equals, I'm going to change that to be type of message. So this is basically going to wait. So yeah. Left item messenger link. Yeah, so I'm just delete all this. So this is basically you just wait for this thing to appear on the page and then start typing. So all the script is doing is going there and then making me do something. That's like what's happening here. So I can manually log in and like do all this stuff because I think trying to automate all that's like really challenging. It's just going to wait for this to appear on the page. So I can, if I stop this and start it again, I forgot what that email I was. So I'm going to go to Messenger, and then it's going to wait for like that to appear, then it's going to start typing it. So you could also like, yeah, so this is just like a super basic example, like how you could skip all that other stuff that, like if I had to write something that was like, wait for the messenger link on the left, then click it, then find a person, that's going to take a long time. So there's like a way to kind of skip those steps. I'll just show you another quick example. Posting to Twitter. So let's try this one. Let's see. I mean, the problem with these is like from day to day, it can stop working.
Like for instance, a competitor could use it to market their own product. Like maybe Facebook would do this to MySpace, and MySpace would do this to like Facebook customers. And so, do they stop these scripts?
This kind of stuff's hard to stop because it's like opening a normal browser window, right? It's you're opening a real browser, so it's hard to stop this. The way they can stop it is by like detecting. They have AI that can like detect. Like I think if they see someone posting this, I think it's like a lot of like human and AI moderation combination. Like I think if they saw someone, they could. That's like yeah. They used to. I'm pretty sure they used to allow bots to post via an API, but I think this is what you have to do right now.
Could you get the bots to like click likes?
Yeah, like you could. I could like what I could do is like. So this is an element, right? I can. Let's try that out actually. So this is like the process of finding something. So you have here a. It's hard. So let's say you have this thing, and then I want to go in there and find, or I can like retweet. So slow. So SVG. See, this is like really tricky. You have to like, maybe it's this thing. Div data test ID equals like. So this is, a lot of times I'll drop these in here so they can write their own automation scripts. So we can actually use this to click on it. So I could do is I could, instead of this thing, I could do like, let's comment out all this stuff here. This is posted to Twitter. Oh wait, page.wait for selector. So I would do data test ID equals like. Wait, page.click. Let's see if this works. So now, yeah, I remember I have to like log in because it's waiting for that to. Yep, that worked. So you can automate your likes or retweet stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, like that wasn't like, there's really not that much here. It's just the hard thing's gonna be this stuff, like figuring out how this stuff works.
Can you put it in a loop? Like, can it like?
Yeah, I could yeah. So what I could do is, let's see. I'm gonna actually Google Puppeteer. Click multiple elements. Just Google that. Select elements by class name and kick each one. Stack Overflow is Googling's the best friend. Oh, you can do this thing. This page ... gives you a list of stuff. Okay, let's try that. So we're gonna get all like buttons equals await page. So this, I think this is the same thing as like if you did this one, this would get one of them. This will get both of them. So I could do I don't know if this is gonna work. Maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna see if this works. Something to look up. I don't know. I don't know if I want to like try to figure this out in front of everyone, but it's definitely a way to do it. I just want to quickly see if that works. And then I'm gonna leave this open for questions. It might work. I don't know. Yeah, that worked. That's awesome.
Oh wow. So my question is.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna stop presenting. I'm gonna post all these examples onto the GitHub too, so you have them. Yeah. I'm gonna stop.
So this script runs each time you load the Twitter page, or each time you run the script. Or the script keeps
Every time you run the script, it'll run everything. It basically what it's doing is I run the script, and then it waits for this to appear before doing anything else. That's how you can like, it waits for this to appear on the page. So it waits for any like button to appear on the page, which means until that happens, you can like log in and do whatever.
Cool.
But and if you want to run it like over and over again, there's ways to run to like automate running Node.js scripts like over time. I don't know that much about it, but I can send if you're curious about how to do that.
Yeah, that
we
works.
can I can try to help you figure that out.
Awesome.
I'm gonna stop sharing and I'm gonna stop recording.